You know what? You can have the best product on the planet, but if nobody knows your name, you're cooking in that empty kitchen. Hello, my name is Christian, and this is the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm excited to have you. And today I want to talk about why networking is really the hidden ingredient to grow your hospitality business. So, with that, I want to say thanks for being here today. If you haven't done so, make sure you like this episode or click the notification bell, and you will be notified anytime there is a new episode. And we are really greatly appreciative of that. So, with that is, let me talk to you a little bit about networking and why networking is honestly the hidden ingredients to grow your business. So, as we said earlier, you can have the best product on the planet, but if nobody knows your name, you will be cooking in an empty kitchen. So, I have a quick story for you. And for me, the story is simple. It's a gentleman who used to work for me. His name is Jason, and Jason was extremely good in what he did. The one thing he wasn't good at is connecting with others. And when he connected with people, he thought it's like this exchange of business cards, and that was his form of networking. And he always came to me. He said, "Hey, I just went to this event that gave out 100 business cards, and not a single person gotten back to me." And for me, it is one of the things I see so many times when people go to a show, or if they're being introduced, they are going out there handing out business cards, but never make a real connection. So, this episode today is about real connection. It's not about fake handshake, fake business card snaps. It's how do you make real connection? And for me, that's something which is not just crucially important. I honestly feel it helped us to be successful. And I know I spend most of my day networking and providing value and following up with people and all the good stuff you need to do in order for us to keep that going. So let me talk to you first about the one thing I see why most people get networking wrong. And the first thing for me is people treat others like a transaction, not a relationship. So if you meet somebody new, they just say, "Hey, here's my business card. Hey, come to my restaurant or call me up," or anything of that sort. And people just not gotta follow up on that. I think, and I know that networking absolutely has changed after COVID. The second thing is the focus on quality is missing, and you really need to focus on quality over quantity. And you hear this said all the time. But how about I make the really good connection? And we're gonna talk a little bit later what kind of connections you need in order for your business to grow. And then for me, the third one is that they wait until they need something, or until they feel like, I really could take advantage, or not just take advantage, or really leverage this person. And that's too late to build a relationship. So for me, it's important, if you have a relationship, and we're going to talk a little bit later today, is that you work on that. And it's constant effort, it's constant work, and it's constant following up. And I have this little chef analogy, which goes, you don't stop prepping when your guests show up, because you build a mise en place, ahead of time. And that's the same thing with working or networking with people. So just giving them a business card is asking people into your restaurant that you have nothing prepped. So let me ask you, or let me tell you, what do you feel are the three connectors you need? So if you could please write it below. I want to see if you um, not just get it right, but there's really three connectors I feel you need. And the first one is you need connectors. So you will ask, what are connectors? Those are people which everyone knows. Hey, they love making intros. They love making connection. They connect you with everybody. They're just people which everybody knows. So you need connect them. The second thing you need is what I call a credibility builder. And for me, those are people who raise not just their value, it raises your value by just being in your corner. So it's really important that you have the connectors of people which you know or everybody knows. You need the people which are credibility builders. So they raise not just their value, they raise your value just by being in your corner. And the last thing everybody needs is a collaborator. And that's probably what people miss the most. A real collaborator is a partner in the kitchen. It's a partner in your business. It's somebody you can build with. And they don't need to be from the same cloth as you, or they don't need to look at people the same way. As long as they're in your corner and they're building with you and they're part of something, um, that's really what helps. So there's three kinds of connectors you need. You need the connectors, which the people everybody knows, and they just love making introductions. Then you need the credibility builders, people which raise your value just by being in your corner. And then you need the collaborators, which are the folks in your business, in your kitchen, which help you build what you're building. So for me, that's crucially important. So, how do you network then without feeling weird or without feeling bushy or without feeling like you're selling yourself? And there's a few points I have for you. So, the first thing is it's really simple. If you listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, he always says, give, give, give. And so for me, I absolutely love that. So the first rule for me is, and that's three rules. Yes, you guys know I love threes. So the first rule is add value, add insight, be generous. And for me, that's really important for a few reasons. Because if you add value, if somebody struggles with something and you make a connection, that's value. Share insight. And if somebody has a challenge and you go to them, hey, there's something I struggled with. I know somebody who struggled with it. Let me make an introduction. And then also being generous, where you said, hey, I can help you with that. Or I know somebody. Let me do that for you, which provides value back. The second thing you need to do, you need to ask better question, not just when you introduce somebody, hey, how are you doing? What do you do? And for me, that's probably one of the worst questions. So for me, I go in there, hey, what business are you in? What gets you excited about going out there and coming to this event? Hey, what did you learn today? And get them to talk about themselves. Because when people talk about themselves, they feel heard and they feel connected with you. So it's really important. And for me, from there on, you need to follow up like a pro. I have this rule that you will hear from me every 10 days. It's a text, it's an email, or I will phone you. So it's really important that you reach out to the people you have real connection with at least once, twice, in a perfect world, three times a month. Just, hey, I was thinking of you. Hey, I read this article, made me think of you. Hey, I just did this. Do you know that? Have you ever done that? And ask for advice. It's a lot better than just to ask, hey, what do you do? And then finally is following up like a pro. It's just really important because I honestly believe real talk keeps warm relationships without spamming them. So, because if you are honest, if you genuinely say, hey, I just read this, make me think of you, or hey, I just wanted to check in with you, how is XYZ going? And it doesn't need to be that long conversation. It's just a way for you to stay connected. And then finally, I wanted to talk to you about two things. The first thing is why networking is the shortcut to speed and the shortcut to scaling. And I actually, when I go to market, I hear this all the time and I talk about, hey, Who do you know? Is there anybody in your network? Because you don't need to honestly know it all. All you need to know is somebody who you can call. And sometimes if you call somebody and say, hey, I'm really having a hard time with this. What do you think? Or, hey, I'm really having a hard time with this. Did you ever have that coming up? How did you solve it? Because if you put this back to your connection, it's hugely important for you to kind of make them feel like they're part of that. And there's a reason you reach out to them. The final thing is for me is there's a case study I always like to share from my journey, and that is how a single connection led to a really big leverage. And for me, that's happened actually early on as I went to culinary apprenticeship. I worked in this hotel back home, and our chef, his name was Karl Futing. He was a European master chef, and he really knew everybody. And the greatest thing about that is as I first, by the way, like everybody else, I fought with him for the first 3 years, and then as I connect with him, I seen that he was a really tough guy, but was really available, for lack of better words. Because every time I went to him and say, "Hey, chef, this just happened in my life. What do you think?" Um, he was really helpful with them. And so the reason I'm thinking, if there's a single case study or what if there's a single thing I learned early was with going to him, it really was my unfair advantage because he let me do some of the best jobs I ever had. And I always tell the story. I traveled for a lot of time in Austria. As I came to the US, I needed my restaurant or my resume for the first time for a position after I worked for 20 years. Never had a resume. I never needed one because every time I needed a job or if I was looking for something else, I called back home, talked to my old chef and said, hey, this is the guy you need to see. And for me, that really became the compounding effect because I honestly believe consistent connection builds reputation, it builds referrals, and it can build your reach. And that's what I learned from that really simple thing, hanging out with my chef and listening to him. Because I honestly feel I call it the compound effect. As you keep doing this and you consistently connect, you consistently build relationship and build reputation and build referrals and build reach out to them directly, it will build your network. So what are my final thoughts today? It's really simple that serve the relationship, not just the outcome or not just the result. And that's for me it's the most important thing for me because if I have a new connection and that person just comes and say, "Hey, who can you connect me with? Who can you help me with?" Um, it probably kind of turns me off. And for me, that's probably the truth because I honestly believe that the most important value or the most important currency you have in your business is the way you connect with people because it's not just that it's how do you trust people and how do you earn it by showing up consistently and how do you earn it by showing up authentically. That's for me the biggest value you have, and that's honestly is trust. So as people trust you, as people just connect with you in a different way, that's really the success of a not just relationship but a connection. And for me, I go out actively seeking that because for me there's no greater way of going where you want to go by connecting with somebody who has been there what you want to do. And if you call this a mentor, and a lot of people I'm talking about are now mentors of mine today, but it's really staying connected and being intentional when you connect with people because you don't need to know it all, as we talked about earlier. You need to have the phone number or somebody in your Rolodex you know you can call when you need him to. And I honestly believe the compound effect is consistent connection builds reputation, it builds referral, and it builds your reach. So with that, I want to say thanks for being here today. Let me know what you connect with. What did you learn from today's episode? What did you experience? What is your real case study? Or what do you do to have connection, not just um, by people with work, is who do you need to call? Who can you call when you need a certain favor or if you want to provide a certain outcome? So for me, that's what networking all is. And that's why I honestly believe if you do all of that, you will have your networking be the hidden ingredient to grow your business. Not just grow your business, it grows you. Because as you hang out with those people and be intentional about it, it just changes everything. Is for me, I learned a ton from people I reached out to. I learned a ton from people which did favors for me. Learned a ton by doing stuff for people and doing without ever asking for anything in return. So with that, I want to say thanks for being here today. If this episode connected with you, or if there was one or two things which you really related to, let me know in the comments below. My name is Christian, and I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. With that, I want to say thanks for being here today. And if you haven't done so, make sure you share this episode with somebody you feel can benefit from it. And then also click the notification bell so you know every time we put out a new episode. With that, I want to say thanks for being here today. Go out there and be disruptive, everybody.